But I would visit her more than any of her other kids. And I would have like tickets driving my 72 Chevy truck, this orange, bright orange 72 Chevy. And I had gotten like dozens of tickets. And so I had to drive through Windcrest and Live Oak and all these cities with horrible cops that would just pull you over, just write you 100 tickets for anything. And so I always had to do that to avoid getting to her house, to avoid the neighborhoods where I had unpaid tickets. But I would visit her quite often, and I remember asking her how she met my father. And my mom was from Kansas, and she received her undergraduate degree at Kansas State, the Wildcats. But then, for whatever reason, she moved to Texas, I guess, to go to graduate school, and she was a graduate student at Texas State. And my father, who would later be a professor at Texas State, was also a graduate student there. But at the time, they might have had a class together, or I don't think they had any classes together. They just went to the same university. But my father worked at a Texaco gas station right off of IH-35. And if you read my book, Gone to Education, there's a chapter when me and my twin brother, we walked from San Antonio to Austin on the outskirts of I-35. And my parents actually met on I-35 when, like I said, my father was working at a Texaco gas station, and my mom would stop there to get gas on her way to class. And so they would make chit chat here and then when she was getting her gas. And one day she left the gas station and she saw my father hitchhiking along I-35 back to the campus. This was like in the 70s, so it was more common then. And she hesitated for a second and thought about not giving him a ride. And then she thought, oh, well, I'll just pick him up and give him a ride. And she gave him a ride. And my two parents couldn't be so different. My father, I'm not going to spend this podcast talking smack about him, but he was not a good person. He's a very cold individual, a narcissistic sociopath. And my mother, a narcissistic sociopath, unable to feel empathy and not giving a shit about his sons. I'll leave it at that. A horrible person my father was. Horrible, straight up horrible. And my mother, exact opposite. My mother, very empathetic, very kind, very easy to be around, very positive, very optimistic, a very good person. All the good qualities that you see in me come directly from my mother and not my father. So they couldn't be more different than night and day. But on this particular day,